a day, everyone. Jesse Bissett here with Wild NC, and today I'm out at Boathouse Creek Park in Cedar Point, North Carolina, looking for birds. I've already seen a handful of different types of herons and egrets. The flies are bad though. That's very unfortunate. I think I'm probably going to focus on photographing woodpeckers today. There are a good number of red-headed woodpeckers that I've been seeing flying around, and I've seen a couple of pileated woodpeckers also, which are really cool to see. So, all right, I'm going to walk around some and see what I can find. So Boathouse Creek Park is actually a really cool little park in Cedar Point. If you've never been here, I highly suggest coming. It's a little hidden away, kind of a tucked away little jewel that doesn't get very crowded. There's all kinds of wildlife here. Every time I've come here, there's been more squirrels than anywhere else I've ever been. They're everywhere, and they're not super shy around people, so if you're interested in trying to photo or video some squirrels, this would be a great place to come. Oh, if you look right down here, there are some deer tracks. So there are deer here at the park as well. And I've actually, so the park is on Boathouse Creek, which is a little creek that flows into the White Oak River here in coastal North Carolina. And it kind of overlooks a bunch of marsh grass in a few places. The trails here walk out to the marsh grass, and I've actually seen deer hanging out in the marsh grass and swimming, which is really cool to see. I came here for the first time just a couple months ago. I've been seeing the signs for it every time I drive by, and just have never, I've been meaning to stop and just have never done it yet. But now, once I stopped, I think I've come every couple of days since then. There's an osprey nest right here near the parking lot, where there's been 3 little baby juvenile ospreys living. In fact, I think you might be able to hear one of the ospreys right now. They have actually left the nest already. I've been coming trying to get photos and video of them leaving the nest and doing their first flight, but I haven't been fortunate enough to actually see that. I missed those first flights. I did see some, like them flapping their wings trying, which was pretty cool to see. So anyway, yeah, if you are interested in seeing wildlife and getting out in nature and enjoying the outdoors, this would be a fantastic park to come see. It's got some hiking trails that aren't super long, but it's easily accessible for everyone, and I highly recommend it. I actually just walked over here, and there's a little rabbit sitting in front of me, which is really cool. Let me spin the camera around. You probably can't see it in this shot, but I will cut to my fancy camera where you'll be able to see it. So here in front of me is a marsh rabbit. If you're not familiar with marsh rabbits, they're very similar to cottontail rabbits. They're a little smaller and typically darker. They got shorter, stubbier ears, and they're, at least to me, their faces look quite a bit different. They look, if you think of a rabbit, like a regular cottontail rabbit that you're used to seeing, and just add a little bit of rat in there, that's what they look like to me. That's probably not a very technical description of them, but that's what I think of when I look at them anyway. They're a really cool little creature, And this is actually the first marsh rabbit I've seen here at Boathouse Creek Park. I imagine they're pretty common here. I just haven't been fortunate enough to see one until now, but I'm very thankful that I got to see this one. They're super cool little critters. So this is one of the cool things about Boathouse Creek Park is it has this nice big long like pier out on the water that stretches out a good bit over the water and has a little gazebo shelter thing on the end of it. You're not allowed to fish underneath the shelter, but on the actual pier itself you're allowed to. And I've seen a good number of people fishing here. There's also some spots off the bank you can fish, and there's a nice kayak put in, and then also just some spots on the bank where you can put in a kayak or something if you'd like. Pretty much every time I've been here, I've seen people putting in kayaks or people fishing, and there's a absolute ton of bait around here, so I imagine it's not a bad fishing spot. Look at that. It's beautiful. It is a beautiful park. Good job, Cedar Point. So there's a bird out here in the marsh on a tree that I want to photograph, and as I was making my way out here to do it, I came across this little box turtle. And as I said, this is what's so cool about this park is it's pretty much in the middle of civilization, but there's just wildlife absolutely everywhere, and you never know what you're going to see here. So you probably can't see it with this view, but once I get my fancy camera out, you're about to see that bird sitting on that dead tree out there in the marsh. You can tell he's not very happy with me here. I'm trying not to get too close to him. I don't want to scare him away. I'm actually really surprised that he's hollering at me like he is. Hopefully y'all can hear that. I haven't even stepped out into the marsh grass yet. As you can see, I'm still back here in the trees, but apparently I'm bothering him, so I probably won't try to get too much closer. This is close enough to get a handful of photos and video. I would like to be closer to be able to get some better photos, but I don't want to disturb him too much, so I'll just let him be. So unfortunately that hawk just flew away. We had a boat come up to near where he was, and I think that scared him off. But, it's unfortunate. I was hoping to get some better photos and videos of him, but oh well. The one cool thing, another cool thing out of all the cool things I've talked about Boathouse Creek Park today is the variety of different activities you get to see. And in fact, the boat that just pulled up looks like it is someone doing some crabbing. So you can flip this around, and you can just look at how pretty that is out there over that marsh with the blue sky. This is an absolutely beautiful spot. And if I switch to the fancy camera, you'll be able to see the guy actually doing the crabbing. So I'm walking across the marsh now, trying to get out a little closer to some trees that have been killed by saltwater intrusion. There's a couple of egrets, it looks like, that are perched up in those trees. I think that might make for some nice photographs if I can get kind of the green marsh grass that's real pretty, and then the kind of like grayish brown of the dead tree, and then the white of the egret and the blue, nice blue sky behind it. I think that would make for a really pretty photograph. Well, unfortunately that egret flew before I could get the photo I wanted, but that's fine. I think I did get some decent photos and video of him. I was happy to see him. He's actually still just right down the way across the creek. I can see him perched up in a tree over there, but he's a little too far across the creek to try to get any good photos or video of, so I'm gonna leave him be. I can still hear the hawk screaming in the background. He's over in that same area as that egret, but actually I don't see him. He's a little too camouflaged for me. So I'm gonna make my way back to the actual main part of the park and get out of this marsh grass because my feet are starting to get wet. Even though I have waterproof boots on, it's something you do have to keep in mind when you're walking through here. Is it's gonna be very messy and very muddy. It's a good number of bugs. Definitely bring bug spray. Unfortunately, the kind of those yellow-headed flies, the biting flies, they don't seem to be too bothered by bug spray. They'll bite right through it, and they can be very bothersome, but it's well worth it to have to deal with a few flies to be out here and see all this beautiful wildlife and just the gorgeous scenery that's here. So I just saw one of the coolest things I've seen since I've been coming out to this park. There was a little eastern kingbird. I think that's what it was anyway, an eastern kingbird that was kind of hovering above the marsh grass, and you could see he was like looking in the marsh grass to get something, and then he dove, and I couldn't tell what he got. I don't know if maybe it was a fiddler crab or a little minnow or what, but he got something and then flew off. It was super cool. I think I may have gotten it on video. I was trying anyway. We'll see how it turns out. So I just saw that eastern kingbird again, and I was wrong. He's not getting fiddler crabs or minnows. He's getting little grasshoppers that are living in the grass. I didn't get any video or photos of him actually getting it this time, but I was able to get a photo of him landed in a tree and could see the grasshopper as he was eating it. The photo didn't turn out very well, as most of my photos don't, but it was still super cool to see. All right, I'm gonna make my way back to the truck now. I just wanna take a minute to say thank y'all for joining me out here at Boathouse Creek Park today. It's been a ton of fun. We've seen a huge variety of wildlife, and stay tuned for more in-depth videos on the different wildlife that I see as I'm out here photographing and videoing. No, this video didn't really get into too much technical detail or too much information about the different species that we saw. I really just wanted to showcase, to highlight the huge diversity that we have, and really the ease of access that the public has to get out here and enjoy nature and see all the different beautiful creatures that live out here. So like I say, in the future there'll be more videos that do this same thing, but also go a little bit more in depth into the biology of some of the species that we're seeing. Anyway, thanks for tagging along.